All right, I think we are live. Super cool. Looks like I'm live on all platforms. Let me just do a quick double check. But as you're all tuning in, let me know where you're from, what industry you're in, and what are you doing to automate your business? What are you doing to buy back your time? What are you doing to scale? Do you have systems in place to help you expand to new markets, to help you integrate new products? Do you have a team that you're working with? And here's something that I'm going to go into is, sometimes people have a hard time scaling their business because they just simply can't afford to hire more people, right? So how can you use technology? How can you use technology to scale your business without eating away at your profits? Now, I know a lot of people think, "Oh no, AI is evil. The robots are taking over." Well, you know what? You could either join them or get left behind. And as a business owner, you cannot thrive in today's world without technology. This is going to be right now, it's still going to be a differentiator for you, but within, I don't know, maybe 3 to 5 years, AI is developing so quickly that it's going to be a necessity. It's not going to be a differentiator anymore. So it looks like I'm live on Facebook, on YouTube, on IG. What's up, everyone? Super happy to be here live with you guys. And I encourage you to stick around because I have a special announcement. I'm going to have a very special someone that's going to be joining us that knows a whole lot more about this topic than I do. But I wanted to speak to you guys as an entrepreneur who doesn't have development skills. I'm not a software developer. I would probably be the least techie person. I mean, it took me an hour just to set up this live. But you have to have a willingness to learn and also know what resources and tools you could outsource to help you buy back your time, right? And you don't need to be a developer, a techie person in order to use the existing tools that are available right now on the open source for all of you to use. And so I'm going to be going into some pretty interesting topics today, basically about what are the resources out there that we can use. And if you stick on to the end, I'm going to have something for you that's going to tell you how can you tell which resources are the right ones for your business? Because what we've seen in the last year or so on the market, there's a lot of tools, and it could be really overwhelming to decide like which one is for you and which one's not. And so here are the top things that you might resonate with as a business owner, right? How many of you here, and hit a wave or comment down below wherever you are, do you struggle to find enough hours in your business that you just can't find the time to get everything done? And even though you got into your business, to be your own boss, but in the end, you're actually working more hours than you were at your last job, right? So who can relate here? Drop a comment down below, because if that's your situation, what you did is you bought yourself another job, right? And I'm sure a lot of us enter into business with hopefully the end goal to buy yourself freedom and time, and whether it's location freedom or time freedom. And yes, there's some growth stages that you have to go through that require a lot of sweat, blood, sweat, and tears. But for how long are you going to end up in this cycle? When are you going to leverage systems and tools to buy yourself time so you're not working in the business, but actually working on the business, right? So that you could strategically scale, maybe open up to new markets, get investors, integrate new products. There's a lot of things that you could do that can increase the valuation of your company. But if you're in the business all the time and you're always delivering the work, then you're going to have a hard time, actually scaling the business, which leads to the next point. How many of you here have a hard time, scaling the business, and you want to take on more clients, right? But you're afraid that if you do that, you're not going to be able to deliver the same quality of work, right? And you're like, well, if I want to take on more clients, I might have to, maybe change my pricing so I can afford to hire more people, right? And maybe that you're not at that stage in your business where you could do that. So you want to scale, but you don't want to compromise the quality and efficiency of your work. Right? I've been there. I've ran my own consulting agency, and it's a challenge. You want it, and sometimes you're like right in that between state where you have a handful of clients and you're ready to take on more, but it's like not enough to completely outsource. So then you just have to cut your profit margins to be able to hire some people. Some people you could hire on a contract basis, but others, they want that long-term security and employment. So it's hard to keep a staff with you long term. And if you don't have the team, then guess what? It's really hard to serve the clients. Can any of you relate to that? So that comes to problem number 3 is, you struggle with with maximizing your profits, right? Because you can't scale efficiently enough and you don't have enough resources, tools, and people to serve your clients. So what do we do? I'm not just here to talk about problems. I do want to get into some solutions. A little bit about me. So listen, I've had the experience of working with top tier, world renowned brands like Coca-Cola, World Vision, O2E brands. I've seen how companies operate on not just a national but international scale. And I've also rolled up my sleeves and been a business owner myself. I mean, gosh, I had a property maintenance business. I've recently also became a co-founder in the last 4 years in a tech startup, and also ran my own consulting practice. So I know what it's like and how hard it is to get something off the ground yourself, right? And there's one thing that I see that is the main difference between businesses that thrive and businesses that dive. Wow, that kind of rhymed. But basically, the main difference is their systems, right? And that is the underlying foundation of how your operations work. Listen, even if you have a marketing budget, if you don't have a system in place to scale those marketing efforts to automatically reply quickly enough to people who are interested, because nowadays people's attention span is this short. And if you don't get in front of them at the moment they're interested, at the moment they're ready to buy, when the need is there, you're gone, right? There's going to be another competitor in front of them. So even if you have a marketing budget, but if you don't have systems in place, you cannot scale your operations. So, what I want to talk to you about today is how you can integrate the latest cutting edge AI technology so you can take back your time, okay, and say goodbye to being a business operator and actually be the business owner that you want it to become in the first place. Okay, so some of the topics that we're going to be talking about is understanding the foundations of AI. It's not just a buzzword, okay? Artificial intelligence has revolutionized the way the world operates. And we'll talk about how you could use it and, some of the tools that exist. But I want you to stick around because I'm going to have someone that's way more experienced than me that can actually go into the nitty-gritty details of how to integrate it into your business. So, does this sound interesting to you guys? Put your hands up if, you're curious on how to leverage systems and AI so you can buy back your time and actually scale your business efficiently. Okay. So, what we're really looking to do is we want to optimize, right? And the way to optimize our time, like I, for example, how I use AI, and yes, I know how many of you know about Chat GPT. Chat GPT is a great tool. However, it is outdated. I think it doesn't have all the data, the latest up-to-date data. There's about 2 years that it's out of date. Bard is also a great alternative research tool. But, whenever you want to launch a product or you have an idea, you always have to start with market research, right? Is there a need? Is there a demand for what you're doing, for what you're launching? Is there a customer base? How much are they paying? Where are these markets? So basically, what AI does is it accumulates all the information on the internet and tailors a response to your questions. And that's why prompts are very, very important. So the better you get at formulating your prompts, the better responses you're going to get. So I use it as an excellent research tool. So I know how I can add value to not only my business, but to my clientele. Right now, there's a ton of other programs like Cloud, Google AI, Amazon AI, and we'll get into all of that. But basically, we want to use this as a research tool to see if there's even a need for what we're about to offer. Because let's face it, it takes a lot of time, money, and resources to launch a business. And you want to make sure that what you're launching is something that is solving a real problem, right? And, if you're asking, well, how can I know if my product is solving a problem? Well, first Google, or sorry, not Google, but rather research. See, that's really effective marketing, right? You automatically said Google. In the future, we're going to say Chat GDP that or Bard that. But you want to research to see what are the most pressing problems that people are actually like willing to pay for to get solved. And once you found out your big idea, you could also use it as a great tool to do copywriting. Now, I do think that right now it's a little bit robotic, some of the responses you come back. So I don't think that copywriting is entirely dead and replaced with AI. I do think that you can integrate some of your own personality into it, but it is good to use as a base for research to kind of structure out your ideas. So that is just the first way that I would recommend using it is as a research tool. Now, let's talk about actually implementing AI solutions into your operations, right? Like, for example, if somebody lands on your website, and sure, traditionally we've used like the FAQ section, and they have to scroll through and look for their answer. But most companies, and what we're doing for our clients now, is we're integrating AI chat bots, right? So that if they have a question, the AI is programmed to answer those questions in real time and in a way that's most relevant. Like, have you guys ever been in one of those chat bots that just give you like scripted answers that have nothing to do with your question, and you're just like super frustrated, and then you just end up calling customer service, being on hold for like, I don't know, 20 minutes ends up being an hour, only to be hung up on accidentally and having to start the process all over again? That's always fun, right? So I I recommend that you're aware of this problem, right? And realize that we need to use real life solutions. And integrating AI into customer service is a great way to increase satisfaction, right? To make sure we're giving them super relevant answers. And you can program your AI to answer these questions in the chatbot in a way that's fast, relevant, and gets the job done, right? So it could be a great way for customer retention and customer resolution. So are you guys getting value from this? Any questions, comments so far? Drop a comment down below or share this if you found this useful. So one thing that we've been playing around with is not just these responses that are happening automated in real time, is we've also been playing around with salespeople. Yeah, it's crazy. We actually have explored technology that can do cold calling, and it's actually a bot, having a conversation. And we've tried it out, and it's not perfect. I found that whenever the AI is making a joke, their laugh comes off a little robotic and kind of awkward. But for the most part, it's really great at objection handling, believe it or not. And it's interesting because if you think how these programs were created, they also used AI to analyze, for example, their top best sales performers, and then programmed a system that can respond in accordance to the top sales performer. So, for these businesses that are looking to scale, but, maybe you don't want to hire a cold calling company from a third world country and then have to worry about, sometimes they have accents that if you're calling an American company, they'll realize that this is an overseas person and they might not build that instant rapport with them, right? So, what you can do is you could use AI to do your cold calls. And guess what? This is a great way to scale your business, to enter new markets without having to chip away at your profit margins, because you don't have to hire real people. You could use a system, and a system can be way more efficient, and it can learn a lot faster, and you can train it through trial and error and program it with different responses based on the feedback that you get. So I find it to be an excellent tool for analyzing data, because we don't want to make decisions in our business based on pure intuition or gut feeling. I mean, yeah, there's a science to that too, but you want to make data driven decisions, especially when it comes to marketing, right? If we are going to spend ad dollars, I'm sure you're going to want to see a return on your investment. So we need to know how our campaigns are performing, right? And we can use AI to analyze the data to understand what is it about our campaigns that are performing and not performing, and redirecting our ad dollars into campaigns that are actually giving us the return that we want, right? So it's extremely useful and profitable, because I can tell you that hiring like an advertising agency can be expensive. I mean, sometimes their retainer fees cost more than the actual ad budget. And they can make a really good point for why that is. You might have a handful of people that are doing the ad creative, that are launching the campaign, monitoring the campaigns, and optimizing it for efficiency. There could be a data analyst in there, a copywriter, a graphic designer, videographer. There's so many people involved. So, of course, these agencies have to charge top tier price. So you might be paying like 5K a retainer, but the ad budget is only $500, right? And you're kind of like, well, I wish I kind of had that reversed. Well, now with AI, you can, right? So that's why it's so integral, because you can even use AI to create creatives. I don't know if you guys have tried the latest program Sora, but it's not perfect, but it's really interesting. I mean, you can upload an image of yourself and create a video from that, so that whenever you're practicing your videos and maybe you blink or maybe you say ums and ahs too much, you can eliminate that using AI and make it absolutely seamless. It's crazy. Even with ad creatives, you don't need a team of graphic designers anymore. You can create different designs and different creatives, split test that across different campaigns and see what performs. And guess what? You didn't have to pay a group of designers to develop those different creatives. And so your risk is a lot lower when it comes to developing these ad creatives. So it's super, super interesting and efficient and cost effective how you can leverage AI to scale your business, but without having to make a massive investment. So I find that super, super useful. And of course, marketing at the end of the day, it's a science. It's not magic. It requires testing. I look at it as running an online experiment and gathering the feedback, analyzing it, interpreting it, and really pinpointing what is it about that campaign that led to that conversion. And we can do it that much faster with AI. So how many of you, raise your hand or drop a comment below, have gotten value from this so far, understanding how and the different ways that you could utilize AI to buy back your time, to scale your business without chipping away at your profit margins? If this has been valuable, I have some great news for you guys. So listen up. For those of you who stuck around to my long live here, I'm actually going to be forming a webinar, and I'm going to be interviewing a very special guest that AI is his magic sauce. Like, this is what he does day in, day out. He's a very seasoned tech entrepreneur, brings over a decade of experience to the space, has even innovated some technology in this space. And he's a public speaker on this topic and inspired thousands of entrepreneurs on how to integrate technology into their business to buy back their time, scale the business, and increase your profit margin. So I'm going to be going live with this next week, Thursday. I believe that's May 9th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. You're going to want to mark that down on your calendars because this is not something you're going to want to miss. And listen, I'm just sharing this with my immediate network. I'm not advertising this. I'm not pushing this out. I'm saving this to add value for all of you who have followed me all these years because I'm telling you, this is what's going to be your competitive edge. And if you don't integrate technology into your business today, you are going to be left behind. Today, it's going to be your competitive advantage. Tomorrow, it's going to be a necessity. I'm telling you, every business, no matter what it is that you do, you're going to have to evolve into becoming a tech company. Because if you're not using technology, AI, systems to scale and streamline your operations, the big dogs are just going to eat you up. And that's a fact. So I would hate for you to be left behind. So I encourage you to click the link around this video and make sure to drop it in the comments or in the description. Definitely register today. It's going to be an intimate class. And the reason why I want to do it intimate, this isn't no BS scarcity sales tactic. Okay. I want it intimate because I want you to interact with us. Drop us your questions. Tell us the industry that you're in. Give us details about the kind of issues that you're having so that we can tailor this experience to your needs, because every business has got different needs. But what we're going to be addressing is how and which type of technology you can integrate into your business, whether you're a techie or not, and apply these solutions today. So if that sounds interesting to you, drop a comment down below and I'll be more than happy to share my resources with you. I'll go ahead and share with you that webinar link. I look forward to seeing you there, and I hope you found this useful. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you again next week. Take care for now. If I can figure out how to exit all these platforms. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.